hurricane, a tidal wave. Essence perfect, life looks brilliant. Give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. Yeah, you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. And get you out of my head again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized.
Please note,
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Pulls a coin and I don't seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of you cloud. So tell me this time is coming, for the sake of all your lies. Why don't you try to be wise? Now that I need you anyway.
I never wanted to be alive, just to feel like I'm fake. And though my heart breaks a beat at time, I try to live just to tell you, don't lead the way, don't leave a sign. Then I try with a try to play in the rain. I feel like I'm fading.
Coming soon. To OLE. See you soon.
I am in misery.
Everyone is watching me when I'm coming around. They all are judging me when I'm lying on the ground. I've got no shelter, I've got no escape. My life is a prison and I can't run away. I feel it in my bones, I'm losing it all. Stuck in my head, I am in misery. Deep inside myself, all I get, my only family. Stuck in the grave, can someone rescue me? I'm burning alive, I got it, I am in misery.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Taking Over. I am, of course, OLED Ed Fries, and joined as always by my tag team partner, the Natural, the queen of our local establishment, the Natural herself, Astrid Pizarro. Well, stop collecting so many nicknames, and I won't have to do the whole introduction every time.
I didn't start them to begin with, so it's okay.
Hello, Mr. Bobby. Thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Millie, we're with you. We're with you, Millie. Thank you for joining us tonight. Hopefully we can distract you from A rough day you've had. Yes, SGG is here. Good. We always like it when SGG's here. Is nice and early. It's always a good thing, I think. I think.
Dang.
All right.
Good.
We're not going to be as nice to this week's episode of NXT as we were to last week's episode of NXT. Or at least I'm not. I don't know about you.
I'm on the fence. We'll see how I feel.
We will indeed. This week starts with a big long video package about last week in Los Angeles. We get a lot of backstage stuff with The Rock. We get a lot of backstage stuff with The Rock seeing Oba, Rock seeing Julia, yada, yada. And then Oba comes out for his first promo as NXT champion. It's a bit of a banger. I like this. He directly quotes Thanos, by the way. Like, the Marvel fan in me just absolutely loved it when he says, dread it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same. We got to get Obafemi on Marvel Talk at some point. You know what we should do? I'm throwing out the big gauntlet here. I want Obafemi for Infinity War and Endgame. I want him to join us when me and Andre do our MCU rebounds for Endgame and Infinity War. Yes, my weebness did turn over 9,000. By the way, Vegeta is my favorite of the Dragon Ball people, so I do understand that. Millie, I'm emotionally exhausted and only paid attention to parts of NXT. It's the most, honestly, similar. So I can't say same, but I'll say similar.
No.
I zoned out for large portions of this show tonight.
Oh, shoot.
So my nights are very few and far between. Yes, Obafemi has an incredible charisma. And I loved him using his normal voice to mock other people.
Yes.
So if you've not seen this, there's a promo of him from Level Up a year and a half, 2 years ago. That voice he used to mock people is his actual normal speaking voice. And the Obafemi voice is apparently a character that he's portraying, which just makes me love him even more.
I feel lied to at the same time. I believed him this whole time because I don't watch Level Up, so I didn't realize that. And then hearing that then to like what it is now, I was like, oh, you definitely fooled me.
Yeah, Astrid shared the video, and I go, "Who the fuck is this weird guy pretending to be Obafemi?"
Oh goodness. Yep.
It's not only voice changing; it's literally like he has a normal voice, and then all of a sudden he's in character as Obafemi, and it's a completely different person.
And the confidence is different. The swagger is different. Like even then, like I'm telling you, like if you watch this clip, you can feel like he basically transforms himself into Obafemi now. So even like I watched it and I went, what? And I had to rewatch it a second time before I sent it to Ed. And I went, I need his reaction to this to know if it's similar to mine because I was so curious. So yeah,
it's definitely an interesting one. I mean, that's the expectation, I think, for a lot of people, especially based off what we saw tonight. We'll get there when we get there, but I think that's not an outrageous thing. We then have Tony D'Angelo come out and interrupt Obafemi, talking about he's the only person to defeat Obafemi, which is true. He's defeated him twice. So he is the only man to defeat Obafemi. Oba tells him he's got to worry about Ridge. Ridge comes out. Now here's the thing. We're going to peel the curtain back a little bit on my experience at NXT. Because I have since watched back the shows for the 2 weeks that I was at NXT. The January 24th show. NXT flip-flops.
No, December 24th show.
What did I say? January?
Yeah. Okay, sure.
the December 24th show, they
Yes.
flopped the last 2 segments because before the main event for us was the tag team turmoil match. That was the last thing we saw. The Trick Williams, Obafemi, Eddie Thorpe triple threat thing happened beforehand. But when they re-edited the show, that came to the that was pushed to the end. However, the last thing that happened on that show was not Ridge Holland dropping Tony D'Angelo, which is the last thing that we see from that match. So I'm going to take you behind the curtain a little bit once the video loads here. And I'm going to give you a 20-second video of what we saw that ended our night before Mike Rome told us to get the hell out and go home. Yes, the last thing we saw was Ridge Holland get his ass kicked by Hank and Tank and the family. So when NXT when Ridge was like, remember the last time we saw you, I left you laying. I'm like, Ridge, what the fuck are you talking about? Because that didn't happen. It's non-canon. It didn't happen on NXT. I saw it happen. I have video footage of it happening. But according to NXT, it never happened. So yeah. I don't know if this is Billy reacting to the video that Astrid just sent her or if it's reacting to my video of Ridge Holland getting his ass kicked. Either way, Ridge and Tony start fighting, and then Eddie Thorpe attacks Obafemi, noticeably, for no reason at all, with a strap. Why? Are we really going to do Eddie Thorpe versus Obafemi at Vengeance Day for a strap match? Because that's where I think it's going.
Can I go back to when Obafemi called him a cockroach and that he called him a rat and like a piece of gum that he can't take off his shoe and he's a deceiver? Can we go back to that part of it? Because that's where I was enjoying myself.
That was great. I thought all of that. Again, Obafemi is fantastic. And then there's Eddie Thorpe.
Sorry, Mel. I love you though, but
I
your
love
boy, I
Mel
don't
too,
know.
but I'm not sorry. Eddie Thorpe is awful.
I don't know about your boy. I know how I feel about him right now. It feels so weird to think about because I remember like so many months ago, we would say we don't like the way they're putting him on TV. They put him on TV, give him his match, his feud ends. He's off TV for who knows how long. Then he comes back, and then now he's featured in a storyline that he's here almost on a weekly basis, and we don't like it whatsoever. We like him off TV again. You know? So it's just like I was thinking about that while watching the show. I was like, I remember the times that I was hoping for this guy to get highlight, and now I don't want him on my TV.
Oh, Eddie Thorpe. Eddie Thorpe is absolutely Mel's boy. But yeah, no. See, I want Eddie Thorpe on my TV screen, but I don't want him in my main event. I don't want him in my men's world title picture.
No.
Eddie Thorpe would be fantastic with Tony D'Angelo in that North American title picture. That'd be a great place for him, right? Especially Tony D'Angelo. Because I think there could be a lot of fun between Tony D and Eddie Thorpe. Yes, when Mel shows up, I have to put the Eddie Thorpe picture on screen. Thankfully, she's not here right now, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, she's busy filming. So
she is busy filming. What do you Noah? Or do you
Noah?
Noah? Their new Noah show, which will be out later this week.
Yeah.
Talking about Omos and apparently his fantastic run in Noah.
You can
What
keep him,
the
guys.
fuck?
Keep him with no receipt too. We're fine.
Yeah,
Thank
don't
you.
send him back. Just keep him. Just don't send him back. Just keep him in Noah. We then get a backstage segment with Ethan Page crowing about his crowning glory segment with The Rock. Poor Andre Chase is
No,
in
no, no, no,
there.
no, no, no. It's with DJ, okay? DJ. Gotta get it right, DJ. Thank you.
No. I don't know him like that. It's The Rock. To peons like me, it is The Rock. Maybe to people like Ethan, who's apparently a sweet ass and can get his ass grabbed by The Rock. Maybe it's TJ to people like that. But to peons like me, it's still The Rock.
To us peasants, he's The Rock.
Dante Chen stands up to Ethan Page for all the crap he's been pulling, and they're going to have a match later tonight. And I'm like, great. Poor Dante Chen.
Agreed.
We then get to Stephanie versus Shotzi.
Oh, wait.
And I
before we
didn't get
move
any
on,
better here.
when Ethan is here, we have Andre in the background, and he's like leaning over the locker, and he looks like he hasn't been showering for like a day or two at this point. And I was telling Ed before the show started that Ethan started saying something about like, oh, it smells. And to me, I was so focused on Andre Chase in the background that I thought he was gonna mention him. It went over my head that he was gonna talk about The Rock's like line going that way. So I was thinking he's gonna say something about Andre. We're gonna get something about him and his story. And then he keeps talking about The Rock, and I was like, oh, never mind.
Half full. I've drunk a lot of it during the actual show tonight.
Just in case.
So yeah,
Oh,
Shotzi versus Stephanie Vaquer. I don't need to see this ever again. Please don't. I think Stephanie is fantastic. I think Shotzi tries real hard. Shotzi tries real hard, but oh god, I'm not a fan of Shotzi matches. I never have been, and I don't think I ever will be.
She's fine to me, but I feel like this was disappointing. And not only that, but the match itself, I feel like it almost lasted like 5 minutes. So I feel like it didn't have enough time to develop either, which I don't think it helped in that factor of it either. And to me, and not only that, but having somebody like Stephanie getting pinned by Shotzi, and no offense to Shotzi, but I think about it this way: Stephanie just got here, put a rocket to her back, and just skyrocket her to the sky at this point. And I know that's gonna lead to something else, but at the same time, I'm not entirely a fan of having Shotzi pinning Stephanie like this so early on her NXT career. And I get it that we had the interference, we had the distraction from JC, we had Fallon hitting Stephanie with the championship, and Shotzi didn't know, so she took advantage of it without realizing it. But the sequence, the timing was great in that aspect, that it worked really well in the timing of it and how it was executed. But at the same time, I'm not a fan of how that ending happened. I get having JC come in here, I get Fallon being in there and hitting her with the championship, but that interference there, I know they obviously want to stop. They prefer and see Shotzi as somebody easier than Stephanie, hence why they're having Shotzi win over Stephanie in that aspect. But I'm not a fan of Stephanie losing this match though. And I think you mentioned it too, and it was like it felt so awkward seeing the picture of her like backstage
And we'll
after
get to that. We'll get to that.
running everywhere too. But again, I feel like this match is so awkward. I don't want to see it again, really, and I hate to say that.
Like, and again, I don't want to pick on Shotzi, but I just every time Shotzi goes in there, it just seems like there's something not right about every match she has. And I think Shotzi's a fantastic character. She knows who she is. She knows what she's doing. And she's not a bad wrestler. But I've yet to see her have chemistry with anybody as far as a wrestling match is concerned. And I don't know Shotzi Blackheart from the indie scene before WWE got a hold of her. So it's very, very just kind of out there. Also, we want to go ahead and thank STG for a 9-month resubscribe. Thank you very much, STG. We greatly appreciate that on the Twitch side. You will continue to not receive ads during our show. And if you want to miss the ads, go ahead and subscribe on Twitch or watch on YouTube. One of the two. I just watched the video of Alba's actual voice and what the fuck? Yeah, isn't it crazy? Yeah, poor Shot. Like I said, I don't dislike Shotzi. I just don't want to see her wrestle. Like, there's a difference. I don't dislike Shotzi. I think she's great. I think she's a fantastic character. I think she'd make a great manager. I think she'd make a great general manager. But the in-ring stuff isn't for me with Shotzi. But she tries real hard, and she's not actively bad in the ring. It just doesn't seem like she has chemistry with people. And it really showed tonight with Stephanie, where there were points where Stephanie was trying to do chain spots, and Shotzi kept letting go of the spot. So Stephanie has to re-grab and readjust, and it takes Stephanie out of the flow that she had going on.
Yeah. And I
ads and wanted to support you guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I was gonna say, as somebody that's met Shotzi, I can say she's nice, but I won't. Yeah, I'm like, this was one of those. I'm like, I could do without it. Sorry, Shotzi. I like you though.
Was Steph getting pinned? Did anything? So no. So this is the thing. They announced it during commentary, which is something that we didn't know going into this match. It was very poorly described to us by Ava last week. Both of them are number one contenders. This match was for who's going to face Fallon next, particularly in Atlanta in 2 weeks on the 28th at Center Stage, I believe, is the Atlanta place that they're using for that show. But yeah, so that's what we've got going on with that. So Stephanie's still getting an opportunity to go ahead and have her one-on-one match with Fallon Henley at some point, and I'm going to assume that's Vengeance Day. I think that the reason why we have Shotzi do this is so Shotzi takes up the card on the 28th. We have a big match that we can promote, and then we can get to Stephanie versus Fallon at Vengeance Day. Her best run was when she was a tag team with Ember Moon. I believe this is about Shotzi. I maybe seem to remember that as a thing that happened in NXT at one point.
Yes.
It's hard. I almost can't see Ember Moon and I forget that we're talking about Athena. Because Ember Moon and Athena feel like two different people.
Yes, agreed.
Before we get to the picture-in-picture ad break, we have Millie dropping in with a comment. What I remember was Stephanie actively looking like she was trying. Yeah, there were a couple of times where that was happening too. I give Stephanie all the credit in the world. She tried real hard. And like I said, there's nothing actively wrong with Shotzi. She just has a very choppy match versus some of the better women's wrestling that we've been seeing across the entire world at this point, which is a lot closer, a lot more, chain wrestling, which is something I really enjoy. Penta versus Gable for me was so great because it was full of chain wrestling. But again, we'll talk about Monday Night Raw later. We have a backstage segment inside the ladies' locker room. Kelani is upset. So Ruka is trying to tell her to just keep being her. Zarya says, no, don't keep being you. Let these losses motivate you. And then Cora Jade comes in and she claims that she's going to win a title before Kelani wins another. I'm like, Cora, can you win something before you start complaining to people about that you're going to do things that other people like? Kalani's actually won something.
Yeah. On her own.
Yeah, she didn't have to use Roxanne Perez to win a championship. And then immediately turn her back on her. I mean, we then get the strangest fucking thing in the world. So, we had apparently, for the worldwide audience, apparently you went to long shots of Kelani Jordan during this commercial break. However, for the American audiences, we had a picture-in-picture ad break, so we had no audio. But Stephanie Vaquer walked through the entire backstage area, just randomly walking everywhere, looking for Fallon Henley. She finds JC Jane in the makeup chair and pins her against the wall. She walks by Bailey Humphries, who is somebody we're going to see in the near future with NXT Evolve. Be on the lookout for Bailey Humphries. She is going to be a very interesting character indeed on the NXT television. She ends up seeing Tatum and Gigi. They're saying something, but again, because there's no fucking audio, we have no clue what's going on here. Nor should she be blaming Gigi or Tatum, because they came to the ring with Shotzi and then promptly left and did nothing else and went backstage. So they have nothing to do with any of this. She then walks into Ethan Page after accosting a referee. And Ethan Page says something to her, and Stephanie gets up in his face, and I'm like, that's a match I'd be willing to watch. Ethan Page versus Stephanie Vaquer? Yes, I'll watch that. That would be great. Then it goes from following Stephanie to following Ethan as he makes his way through the backstage area, and he makes his entrance into the arena. And I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch for 2 minutes and 20 seconds?
No, the best transition was going from Stephanie to Ethan as Ethan's making his entrance. That was the best part of the whole picture-in-picture part of it. But I literally said in our Discord, I just felt illegal watching this backstage of her running around trying to find people. I thought at first she was trying to find Ava's office because she looked very confused.
Where I thought she was going.
Right? And then I'm like, it's the same building, so she shouldn't be confused to where to find Ava's office. So I was like, so where the heck is she going? And I see her finding JC. I'm like, okay, oh, she's looking probably for Fallon or for Shotzi. And then I'm like, this is so weird. I don't want to see this, though. It feels so weird to watch.
Yeah, during the commercial break, you get all kinds of weird stuff. Stephanie looks like Bianca when some women can't keep up with her. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Stephanie Vaquer has that year like Bianca Belair where it's hard for some of these women to keep up. But again, I would blame it on Stephanie being like Stephanie's just a step above if this wasn't a constant thing with Shotzi. Like, this isn't the first time we've ever seen this with Shotzi. And again, I don't want to pick on Shotzi. I don't think she had a bad match. I just think it was a clunky match. And other wrestlers who I constantly say this about, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch cannot have a non-clunky wrestling match if her life depended on it. Like, every time she wrestles, the whole damn thing is clunky. I can't stand it.
I disagree, but let's move on.
It's why I love Charlotte so much.
No, I disagree.
We then get Oba in Ava's office trying to get a match. Wow. Yes, I love it when people finally, like, when new people pop into this thing and figure out my hate for Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
They don't understand how much.
I love my four horsewomen, so respect to them.
I love the four horsewomen.
I would not agree with Ed on his.
But there are two way high on the list, and then there's two at the very bottom of the list. And they're very
chapter.
much
Next chapter. No, we're not doing this. Next chapter.
Ava tries to tell Oba that she's not going to reward Eddie Thorpe's terrible behavior, and Robert Stone tries to get in Oba Femi's face about this. And Oba just lifts him about 4 feet off the ground and pins him to the wall. And Ava finally agrees that if Oba wants it, Oba versus Eddie next week for the NXT Championship.
I can tell you, Suji, he's going to say none.
No, that's not a hard choice. It's Sasha. I dislike Becky is the worst of the four horsewomen in every single version of the argument.
Damn, that hurt inside. Okay.
She's the worst in the ring. She's the worst on the mic. She's the worst total package. And she has the least interesting matches.
I disagree. You know why? You know why? Because I think one thing her and Bailey, in my opinion, that do the best out of the four horsewomen is that they highlight the other women. From the way I love them about them is that Bailey has highlighted the girls on SmackDown while Becky did it on Raw. And then Becky left, and then the women haven't been the same since she left. So, yeah, we'll keep it at that. Let's move on.
Yeah, both of you four. Mine are easy. Charlotte, Bailey, Sasha, Becky. It's very simple.
I don't know if I can do that because I would feel bad putting anybody in the fourth place. I don't know.
I have no problem with it. It's very easy for
I
me.
can't do it. I had to think. I had to marinate on this, DG. I can't do it. So you have to give me some time.
While you think about that, I'll talk about Eddie Thorpe versus Dante Chen, because honestly, it won't take long.
No, Ethan.
Huh?
Ethan.
What did I say?
Eddie. I was gonna
Might
say
as
that
well
it
have
was
been
the
Eddie
wrong
Thorpe.
match.
I've had a long week.
I know.
I've had a long week.
I'm here to help you out.
Mama Fries has not done well this week.
I know.
It's been a long week. Ethan
I won't
versus
forget
Dante.
it. I'm thinking about it. I promise.
Ethan versus Dante. Dante dominates this entire match. Literally, Ethan gets almost no offense in until Ethan hits one move and Dante's dead. What the fuck was this match?
First, though, I was very surprised by Dante's, like, when his entrance happened, the reaction that he got was just amazing. That really surprised me. Like, you could hear the people, like, chant, like, I don't want to say chanting, but, like, cheering for him while even just the entrance is happening. So I was very surprised about that part. And then I feel like this is, again, kind of similar to Shotzi and Stephanie in that sort of way. I feel like nothing happened, and then the attack happened. And again, I feel like this is another one that didn't have a lot of. I know it didn't need it, which is fine. In this aspect, this is one of the few instances I'll say it didn't need it, but it also didn't have a lot of time for me to go, what's happening here?
We always say every time Dante gets a match, the fans love Dante. And we always go, why? Like, we're always surprised the fans love Dante. The fans love Dante Chen so much. My thing was it was the stark difference from Dante does everything in this match. Ethan hits one move in the game. It's over. He didn't even hit his finish. He just hit him with a move and the match was over. We love Dante. Yes, we do. He then pulls Dante out of the ring, takes off his boot, puts his like entire foot behind the ring steps, and then kicks the ring steps and I guess breaks Dante's leg. I mean, the one with Javon was good. The one with Cedric was a little bit less good, but I understood it. As Billy says, what the fuck was that after the match? Javon then comes out and attacks Ethan Page. Ethan hits him with like one short jab, and Javon's bleeding from the mouth again because his mouth is still wired shut. I'm going to assume at Vengeance Day we're getting Ethan Page versus Javon Evans.
Yeah, I feel like not only the sequence here, not only the ending, but everything afterwards. I think my favorite part was seeing Ethan he's not really particularly smiling per se, but he's admiring his work while he sees Dante in pain. And having Jamon come out is something that I wasn't expecting, just because I was thinking that they would keep him off TV a little bit longer and bring it out a little bit closer to Vengeance Day. So I don't think I would have done him coming out so soon yet. I would have waited a little bit more on that end of it. But again, I feel like another thing that helped is that the fact that the crowd is so behind Dante that they get a bigger reaction out of this whole part of it here. But the match itself, I was like, what the heck was this? I have no idea what's happening. I don't know why this is happening. But again, I love the facial expressions that Ethan gives us during this whole thing, because he's not smiling still. He's not giving us a smile, but he's just at the same time just admiring that work and just concentrated in such a way with him. It's just incredible to watch.
Yeah. Ethan just stood there and all the referees like, come on, you gotta go. And Ethan's just standing there admiring his work. It's weird. Back to a couple, because we were getting into the middle of the segment. Mama Fries has been in the hospital again since last Wednesday. We think we have a rationale understanding of what the hell's going on. So hopefully in the future she will be getting better. But for right now, she's still in the hospital. I hope they get to take her home tomorrow. Fingers crossed. It's been a long week. After this, we get Oba and Dion backstage, which was weird. And Dion says, I'm going to challenge you for that title someday. And I'm like, yeah, you might be a main eventer by the time Obafemi loses this championship. I could see that. I could see Obafemi having like a 2-year reign where Dante or Dion Lennox is a contender at that point.
And I just felt like right now when I saw that, I was like, I don't believe you right now, but hopefully sometime later I will.
We then get Sean Spears targeting Rizzo for his new group, and Izzy Dame, making everything all about her, starts yelling at Sean Spears to leave her alone. And he's like, I wasn't even talking to you, lady. I was talking to Rizzo because she needs my help. Because she's doing everything for Tony, but what is Tony doing for Rizzo? And he had a point.
Very interesting.
But Izzy gets all mad. She makes it about her. Rizzo goes, I had that under control. And Izzy's like, sure, walks away. And she walks past and goes, ugh, as I did when I saw Carmen Petrovic standing with Ashanti the Adonis. And then they kissed. And I got sick.
We can move on. We can pretend that didn't happen. Yeah. So next thing we had.
I want better things for Carmen. Or I want her off my television screen. I don't care which at this point. I don't care if we bury Carmen. I don't care if we get Carmen out of this. But it's got to be one of the two because I can't deal with this.
Thank you, Millie. I'm going to pretend it didn't happen.
I like Carmen Petrovic. I think she's an ultra talented wrestler who's got the sky's the limit for her. It wasn't even an okay kiss. Why won't this storyline die?
Because it's Valentine's Day. We always get a romantic storyline leading up to Valentine's somehow.
Oh my God, I can't.
AKA Kiana James and Brooks Jensen. Hashtag never forget that.
Oh no. Why'd you have to remind me of that? No.
Yes.
That storyline was like 3 years long too. That one never fucking died. Emotional damage. No, not long-term storytelling. Bad storytelling. All right. At our old home, there is an episode around Valentine's Day where I recorded cheesy pickup lines because during the episode, Brooks Jensen was trying to do his dating profile and I would drop them throughout the show, but I didn't tell Astrid or Cody that it was going to happen. So just randomly during the show, all of a sudden a pre-recorded video of me cutting a cheesy pickup line happened. And they'd be like, what the fuck was that? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I just kept going. Like nothing ever happened.
I think you told me they were happening, but you didn't tell me when you were dropping them, though. It happened just during the show in itself like that.
Oh, okay. I know I didn't tell Cody anything.
I think
he was very confused.
Yeah.
No, these videos don't need to see the light of day. I'm not going to tell you that they're at Love Wrestling under NXT banner. I'm not going to tell you that at all. I don't hate romance. No,
he does not. He does not hate it. Well,
we'll move on from that. My real life is not a discussion.
I put a disclaimer right now because of last week because we didn't even explain anything. Okay, for those of you that don't know, we have stuff obviously about personal lives that we don't say on screen, but we know about each other because obviously we talk every day. So for those that don't know, yes, that's it was kind of like an inside joke happening on screen that I was trying to cover up. But just so you guys know,
I didn't want to be the one to drop the bomb and be like, Ashley, be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. So obviously,
I am a big. I'm not a sap SAPP. I'm not a Sean Ross sap, but I am definitely a sappy dude.
He drinks Haterade, but he's also a big teddy bear too. I can tell you that much.
I describe myself as a polar teddy bear. I'm big. I'm white. I'm fluffy. But people love me. I'm very nice to squeeze too. Anyway, moving on. Back to my phone just turned off and I have no idea what's next. NXT Spotlight on Julia's big win last week. The one thing I want to point out from this is her getting her side plates on. The Hannah Kimura reference in her side plate was the same reference that she has in her entrance video, which is the cherry blossoms. Hannah Kimura is formerly a fantastic wrestler over in Stardom, who all of the Stardom girls love and adore, who unfortunately took her own life due to online bullying and everything like that. She was a big support system for a lot of those girls, and this is Julia's way of paying it back and making sure that Hannah's memory never dies. So on her side plate, she has the cherry blossoms, which is just kind of sweet and beautiful. DIY is backstage talking about Fraxium because reasons, to which I said in the Oleg Discord, Daddy's home! Daddy was back. I'm so excited. Daddy's home. And did you see him? Did you notice him hugging the tag title belt like he hugged Goldie? Oh, it made me so happy.
Yeah, this was like the other one that we're gonna have later on. This was very random at the same time. I was not expecting them here whatsoever in any way, shape, or form.
I do love DIY. I think DIY are both fantastic. I've always liked DIY. Remember when Vince tried to do a love angle between Nia Jax and Enzo?
No,
Yes.
I didn't need that. I didn't need to remember that. Will, thank you.
Vince tried to do a lot of things with Enzo, and most of them didn't work.
Yeah, this is one of those I would like to.
There needs to be a documentary at some point chronicling the rise and fall of Enzo Amore and Big Cass.
Oh gosh.
Because people don't understand, when they got called up from NXT, they were so over. One night they didn't have a microphone to cut their promo. Enzo tapped his hand like it was a microphone and did the promo. And the fans in the arena chanted the entire promo word for word so loudly that it came across as if Enzo was cutting the promo. Mm-hmm. That's a level of over that very few people ever get to. And that is the greatest line ever. You cannot teach that downfall. Because one of them is now under the learning tree of the anarchist, the husband of the anarchist, Chris Jericho.
Millie, 10-10, no notes on that one. That was great.
Indy and Dexter is the best love story in NXT. Absolutely.
Agreed.
Index,
1,000%.
Again, the NXT shows, me and Astrid gushed wildly over Index. We were very big fans of Index.
Yeah.
DIY versus Naxium. I'm all in for this match. Give it to me. Please. Vengeance Day. Naxium versus DIY. I'm down. Do it. Put more titles on DIY. I'm fine with it. Millie, you have it every day, no matter what happens. Honey. You always have it. No, I don't watch Korean dramas. With the exception of Dragon Ball Z, I don't like to read my movies. So my shows. So if it's in Japanese or Korean, like I've never seen Squid Game. I've never seen the Squid Game.
You're not missing anything. It's fine. I watched.
Apparently, I am. 6,000 million people watched the season 2.
I can tell you. I remember when it first came out. This is just a big side note. I had so many people say, if you like horror and thrillers, definitely watch Squid Games. I watched it, and I feel like I lost time of my life I will never get back. Season 2, haven't even started it because I'm out. Yeah, no. I tried.
Yeah, there's lots to learn about OLED. If you go back to our early days, there's a lot of fun stuff in there that interesting stuff. Well, yes, you're too busy watching all of our shows to go ahead and watch the Squid Games. It's okay, we understand. Yeah. Metaphor versus the Unholy Union. I'll be honest with you. This is the best match of the night.
Yeah.
This is by far the best match of the night. 3 out of 4 of these women are really, really good. And then there's Jakara Jackson.
What?
I think that Jakara is a few steps away from being great. But having seen her in person, She's not nearly as good as she looks on TV. They do a lot of work to make her look good with camera angles and camera cuts. That when you're sitting there watching her in person, she is not the same athlete. However, Lash Legend is better than they make her look on television. Lash Legend is getting better and better week in and week out. And I would break her off from Jakara Jackson and make her.
Wait. Blink
a
twice
star
if you're not in
who's
trouble
done
and you're
wrong.
safe.
What?
Blink twice if you're safe. Just making sure.
Yeah,
Are you
I'm
sure
good.
you're okay?
I'm good.
You sure?
Lash Legend has come a long way from the day where I said I would quit the show if she won the breakout tournament. She's come a long way. She is a very competent professional wrestler. Not only is she competent, she's good.
Am I the only one that's speechless right now by hearing this? I don't know. I'm gonna need some time to recover from this.
I mean, I watched Lash Legend 3 weeks ago in NXT and 4 weeks ago, whatever it was, the 17th of December. She was fantastic. She's really, really good in the ring. And this
I'm glad
push
to
has
hear.
made her better and better. I feel bad for Alba and Isla that they had to lose this, especially since we now have. I sent this to Astrid, but we have a new photo to add to the Astrid collection of photos, and now I can't find it on here. But
Shout out to me on Discord.
oh, okay.
That's what it
right.
was.
Let me send it from my phone.
Yeah. Will, this is very interesting too. It feels like the main roster talent was there to maybe tease a match at Mania, and I'm sure Roxanne is costing Bailey the title match on SmackDown. Maybe I did like the interaction they have. I will talk about that a little bit later. CG Hollywood Astrid. I felt 9-1 when you say so. I'll dial 1 again. I don't know. I need some time to process this information because I know he said she improved, but like the I don't want to say the commentary, but the comments, I guess the feedback from it is something that has surprised me.
She gets better and better.
Yeah, and what I liked about this match too is the fact that she was able to show off so much of her power in this match with the girls. They did so well together, and that sequence for the ending was, again, this is something similar to last week. The timing here for this sequence was really well done too, because the way that Lash is able to tag in, so that way, the way that it happens at the end, she's in control. She's able to help out and save Jakara just to be able to do their signature move and finish her at the end for them to win the match. And I was like, that was like that, and it was really well done. That time it was amazing. It was like I love how great they look as a team, and like you said, this was this was definitely the match that I enjoyed the most tonight. Because not only that, but this match compared to most of the show tonight, it definitely had time to develop and continue on and give us something. And again, it was like we don't know when, but we're gonna get Jakara and Lash versus Bianca and Naomi sometime soon, which will be very interesting to watch.
And it's turning. I hate it. We need heel Ed.
Yes, easier for me.
But no, like, yeah, there's something going on with Lash. She's improved week after week, year after year. Like, the biggest thing I miss from Lash Legend is lashing out.
Yes.
Do you remember how much fun we used to have with the lashing out segments?
Mm-hmm. Especially when she was
Remember
beating up
when Tony
Nikita. Bring
D'Angelo
that back.
Remember when Tony D'Angelo put the guy who helped Lash Legend on our lashing out segments in the trunk of a car?
And I hate it because like we were enjoying that and we were liking her mic skills because it was developing with those segments, and then all of a sudden they're just done.
Yeah. No, Jay White. Refuse to watch Jay White. Jay White is a charisma vacuum. Speaking of charisma vacuums, we then get Jade versus Kelani Jordan.
No,
No, this was okay. The best thing about this match was seeing Masha Slamovich with the TNA Knockouts Championship.
Yes, NXT TNA, let's go. I feel like it was good timing because I feel at this point it almost felt like it died down, and I was wondering if anything else was gonna happen here. And I see Jordan's tweets of like, "I'm seated. Oh, I'm waiting for this." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I see Masha there, and I was like, interesting. I just don't like it. Don't like Masha too close to Cora though. Nope, don't do that.
No, I don't love Cora. My buddy likes Cora.
I was gonna say not me.
Rob, who went to NXT
Yeah.
with me, loves Cora.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been very high on Cora Jade.
Yeah.
Put Alba and Isla on my TV immediately. I turn into a fangirl. Yes, I mean you don't understand how happy it made me when they were like, we're here during the first portion of the NXT show and they were backstage and I'm like, oh, they're here. I might see them in the flesh. Yes, the Kappa face. Yes. This match was okay. Again, these two, like Shotzi, no chemistry. This is like the fourth time they've had this match. And every time they have this match, I always come out with the same thing. Cora and Kelani just don't have chemistry.
And at the same time, this is what the second or third match that Cora wins since her return. So I don't want to say surprised because we know the story that's going on with Kelani, so it makes sense that she would lose this. But at the same time, I was like, oh my God, Cora won something.
More than that, they're setting up Cora versus Masha Slamovich.
That's what I say. I don't want her near Masha. No.
No, I'm
No.
fine with that because then I get to see Masha
No.
beat the shit out of Cora Jade.
Still no. That means she gets do you want her to get a title shot for the Knockouts Championship? Hell
Sure.
no.
She ain't gonna win, so it don't matter.
I don't care. Don't. I would prefer somebody else that better than her to get that opportunity. No offense to her.
I would probably cry seeing them in person, especially Alba. I will show you the pictures that we have from the entrances from the other night. Yeah, I thought Masha versus Roxanne might have been a possibility. I don't dislike Cora. And by the way, happy birthday, Cora Jade, I guess. Apparently it's her birthday today. So, yay.
Yeah. She's on your team.
We then get Eddie Thorpe promo, and because I'm obligated, I'll put the Eddie Thorpe picture up. You could barely see Eddie Thorpe because he didn't put the camera light on. So it's just this like really dark video of him at night outside the complex talking about the full moon and a wolf and how he got everything he wanted. I'm like, dude, you have a match with Obafemi. You did not get everything you wanted. You have misjudged the situation, my poor child.
Well, I did like the fact that he goes, oh, like I've done it again. The same thing I did before, and I got away with it kind of thing. Like he thinks like it's the second time now that he's able to take advantage of the situation. But at the same time, I was like, you do realize you're going against Oba, though, right? Just making sure. Because, yeah, you're not going to survive that. Just letting you know ahead of time. There's some point.
Not even a little bit. NXT TNA is back. And speaking of TNA, make sure that you catch the Natural Ash Bizarro and Mark Talks Wrestling on Fridays.
And Brett.
Oh, is Brett an official co-host of the show now?
Well, official, yes. He's going to be similar to Kimmy, showing up whenever he's
popping
able
in
to.
and out
But, yeah, we're a trio for TNA now.
All right. And that will be making an impact, will be making its debut on our local establishment, making its return to the internet waves. That'll be happening at some point by the end of the month, apparently.
Yeah,
Correct?
no, it'll be we're recording it Friday, but releasing it on Friday.
So this Friday there'll be an episode.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got to watch TNA. Oh no!
No, me too, STG. Me too.
Yeah, trust me, STG. She's not happy about this either. What the fuck was that creepy fetishy heavy breathing?
Oh, Millie, I'm so glad you're in this chat. You and STG are a great tag team. You're just letting you know. Yes.
We
And
then
that's
get
it.
our main event match of the night, which is Naxium.
no.
What? Did I miss something?
The part with Lexus King and Ava and Charlie backstage and getting that rematch. I know it wasn't much, but
Oh,
just
God. Oh,
to
God.
bring that up. Ren made me laugh at that point though, just because it was more like she's like, "Do you hear that? Do you hear that?" It's like rematch, rematch, um, but no, they're teasing that rematch there, but I don't think they mentioned when that was gonna happen. So yeah,
Yes, Lexus King was here. The new Heritage Cup champion, Lexus King. More Astrid is always a happy
like
thing.
I'm not here enough.
He is my new golden boy. I mean, I don't know if he's my golden boy. I'm a fan of Lexus King. I mean, it is what it is.
Mm.
By the way, I'm working away in the background trying to find all the times where I said I will never cheer for Lexus King as a babyface and putting them all together, and then clipping the part from last week's show where I was like, yeah, I agree with Lexus King. I'm a fan.
Oh man, they should have put the dates on it just to see the progression of like I hate him, I hate
Oh,
him.
we're
I
going
like
to. I'm going to go back and find them, but yeah, no. I love the part that Ava was like, you might want to get that checked.
Oh, and then this is when they hear in the background, they hear a noise in one of the doors, like one of those garage looking doors, and it's
Yeah.
Tony with Ridge still fighting outside at this point.
Yeah, and that's where we find out that we're going to get next week. We get Tony D'Angelo versus Ridge for the North American Championship, and Oba versus Eddie for the NXT title.
Yeah.
I should have been keeping haterade tabs. No, nobody can keep that much track of
You
my
need a
hate.
part time for that, Millie.
I don't have enough money to pay people to keep track of my haterade. Hollywood Ash works as a manager and hosts Ole multiple times a week. Respect. Yes, she's going to have 3 weekly shows on this channel.
Don't
On top
remind
of being the booking agent, and by the way, she's got a big one in the works, a Vengeance Day, let me tell you.
me. Pressure.
It might be electric, shall we say.
Yeah.
Right? Is that a good tease for the guest?
Yeah. Yeah.
Based on their name?
Yeah, I like that one. We'll keep
Electric.
it. Yeah. We'll keep
And no,
that
it's
one.
not DJ. We're not that well connected. We don't have DJ coming on.
No. No, I do not.
Congratulations, SCG. There you go. Good job.
Dang.
We like promotions here. Ashley got promoted a few months ago into her new job. Naxium versus OTM. This match happened. Naxium won.
Was there ever any doubt that they were going to lose
Yes,
tonight?
yes. I
No.
constantly keep waiting for. It was best posed by our good friend Jose on the air, and I want to get the exact words from his tweet. So hold on one second.
I think my favorite parts were the double submission they had at one point, and I think it was Lucian that was on top of the commentary when Nathan did the frog splash to him, but then Axiom does a Spanish fly to Bronco for the match. But again, it's just like at this point, who's really gonna beat them? And like, I'm not saying I'm over it, Millie. I would not agree with you on that part of it though, because I love Axiom. But at this point, it's just like who will be the people to beat them at this point, because you put so many other people, not only singles competitors together but tag teams here to go against them, and they still go on top no matter the miscommunication, the injuries, the double matches. They've been through it all. So at this point, what do you do here? Like, where is the end game here, and who'll be that person? Because they were teasing us with DIY, but at the same time, are they really gonna have DIY versus Naxium and then have them win over Naxium on NXT? I don't know. I really don't know.
As our good friend Jose on the air put it, and I quote, God, this Fraxium reign is something else. How bad is it that they're putting on bangers consistently, and I still can't wait for when they finally split up and how much they still tease it, even when they keep winning. I can't wait for them to lose. I keep rooting for it, and I keep falling short. The next challengers apparently are going to be Briggs and Imamura. As before this match, they called next. OTM is good. OTM is fine. They need a little bit of work. They're not great, but they're putting good matches. They're not being carried like they used to be. they're missing something when Jada Parker's not out there. It was brought up on
Yes.
commentary, and I
Mhm.
think it needs to be said over and over again. There's something special about OTM when Jade is there, and there's
Mhm.
something missing with OTM
Yep.
when Jade is not there.
Yep. And I think the irony too of like this is one of the few times I would say that I see them coming out, and I was waiting by the entrance for her to come out, and the fact that she didn't, I was like, that's interesting. This is the first time that they actually have a match and she's not there, or like and all together within the group because she's had her matches and they come out with her even if they just leave afterwards or they stay by ringside. So this is the first time I actually noticed that she's not even there whatsoever. But is this part of the character change that we're getting from her after everything that's happened now with her losses recently? So it's like I was waiting for that moment for that shadow to come out from the middle, and then it did, and I went, I miss her.
And then we get to our main event segment, which is Roxanne Perez cutting her promo. And I'll admit, I bit a little bit. I thought she was turning babyface. Look at all the greatness I've done. Look at all the no. I was like, oh, they're gonna turn her. I was like, they're gonna make the smart decision and turn her babyface before bringing her up to the main roster. No. Bailey comes out and interrupts as she's talking about the four horsewomen and how she only need that new NXT only needs one. And then Bailey comes out. And then NXT screwed the pooch. I don't know if they planned to cut the way they did. I don't know if the Netflix feeds got more than what we got. But Bailey comes out and says that while Roxanne is going to continue to get in her own way and stay in NXT, Bailey is headed to WrestleMania when she beats Tiffany Stratton this Friday. And then the show goes off the air. And I'm like, but what else
Not
happened?
even. They're mid conversation when this happens. It's like,
No, that's the last line I heard. They said that, and then
yeah, but if you notice, they still had the microphones in their hands. They were still like,
yeah, I think that there's more. Again, this is
and I'm
what
like, why? I don't like it.
So I'm curious to see what we'll get as the digital extra. We'll see from the live crowd, videos from the live crowd over the next few hours, few days of what happened after NXT went off the air. But yeah. I don't think Bailey's just so we're clear, I don't think Bailey's putting Roxanne over. I think Bailey's going over Roxanne. This is how I see this happening. Friday night on SmackDown, Tiffany Stratton versus Bailey. Roxanne comes out, helps Tiffany Stratton beat Bailey. Bailey comes back to NXT next week. She says she wants Roxanne at Vengeance Day. At Vengeance Day, we get Bailey versus Roxanne for the #1 contender for the NXT Women's Championship. I think Bailey wins that match, and at Stand and Deliver, it is going to be Julia versus Bailey.
I wasn't even thinking of chiming in at that moment. Would I like Roxanne losing? No, but at the same time, I think about it this way: having her come out straight from NXT to the main roster and going against one of the four horsewomen, that's already huge as it is. And she's already been a part of. She's had a match on Raw and a match on SmackDown so far too. So I was like, they could do any brand at this point, and I'll be happy. I'm glad that, and like, plus at the same time, right now, I feel like SmackDown has been focusing more on the women that Raw has been, even with the move to Netflix. So I was like, put her on SmackDown and have her a couple of bangers with all those people over there too. She has history with Tiffany. Put her with Tiffany to begin with. Bailey just interacted with her. Put that in there too. I don't mind it.
That is the end of us talking about NXT, but not the end of our show because I'm going to drop something on Astrid here that I haven't talked to her about.
Okay.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Corey Graves.
Oh.
Oh, Corey Graves. What is going on with Corey Graves? So, for those of you that missed it, and I don't know how you could have missed this all day, last night Corey Graves was on Twitter and he posted a long rant talking about how essentially he got moved to NXT last week.
Wait. Before we realized though, when we didn't, it wasn't announced anywhere that I know of that he was a part of NXT, and then he showed up. I don't know when we were very surprised that he was part of the team, and he didn't look very happy to be there. It felt almost like Mike Rome when he first got like sent down to NXT as well. If it reminded me of that very similarly, that they both had a reaction of seeing NXT like a demotion. And based on how the product is, and not only that, but the way it is navigated in NXT compared to the main roster, I don't never see NXT as a demotion. I would say that right now. So seeing that reaction was also disappointing as somebody that watches NXT on a weekly basis to get that reaction from Corey. And like you said, like you and I were both surprised when we were talking about the show that he was part of the commentary. So we're like, oh, good, because that way that balances out. We'll probably hear a little bit less from Booker. So we were happy to have Corey be a part of this. But then now we're gonna jump back into what you were saying. Sorry.
Corey Graves says, and at 11:37 last night, Corey Graves tweeted, "Imagine chasing your dream and then being told, not deciding, that you're no longer physically able to pursue that dream. Then you dedicate your life to something dream adjacent and being pretty fucking awesome at it. And then when it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, being told you're not famous enough for your own job. Just in case you're wondering where I've been." This was then later, he posted about this morning at 8:41, he posted, "I've got a lot to say. Don't miss NXT tonight on the CW."
Mhm.
Then it was reported that he wasn't going to be on NXT. It was reported that he was at the airport going back to Pittsburgh. It was reported that there were only two chairs at the announce table tonight for NXT.
Mm-hmm.
People have been trying to decide, is it work? Is it shoot? His brother Sam Adonis tweeted out, not work. Here's the thing, and I see he should be fortunate enough to be in the position he is. He's a whiny bitch. He's always going to be a whiny bitch. He's always been a whiny bitch. He's a whiny brat. Here's the thing. I get where he's coming from. This guy wanted to be a professional wrestler. And like Daniel Bryan, concussions took that dream away from him. He was lucky enough to be liked by Triple H enough to be able to try to do something different. And he started working in NXT as an announcer on post shows and then on commentary. And he'd gotten really good at it. Then, because Vince couldn't figure out who the fuck he wanted to be a play-by-play, he fired all of the good play-by-play people. And Corey Graves had to learn again how to do something he's not meant to do, which is going from a color commentator, which, by the way, he is phenomenal at. One of the best play-by-play, one of the best color commentators in wrestling right now, in my opinion. And then after that, being pushed aside on the Raw job by Pat McAfee. And then when the SmackDown job, which he was doing with Michael Cole, where you assumed he would have paired him with either Joe T or put him back with Wade Barrett like they were doing before Joe T came into the company and they moved Michael back to SmackDown, he was left off the SmackDown team and got brought back down to NXT. And I can see where that would hurt. Because I think he's better than a lot of those guys at the job they do. He's better than Wade as a color commentator. He's better than Joe T as a wrestling play-by-play guy. And to be honest, if it's not for the connection of Pat and Michael, he's better at color commentary than Pat McAfee. Pat is an exuberant ball of energy that is unlike anything else, and he fits perfectly with Michael Cole. But I think the better team is Michael Cole and Corey Graves. I think the best run of SmackDown was when SmackDown moved to USA, and it was Graves and Cole. That two-man team was really, really good. And yes, Corey Graves has indeed had some rough edges and done some things that people aren't happy with. And yes, he apparently can be a bully, and he can be a bit of a pain in the ass and a, whiny bitch backstage. But at the end of the day, like, WWE needs to understand, I'd bring him back. I would move. What I would do is I would take Booker off commentary as soon as possible because he is abysmal at commentary. And I would put Wade back on NXT with Vic because that was a banger of a team. I would put Corey with Joe T on SmackDown as a color commentary to Joe T's play-by-play. And then I would leave Michael and Pat because they're kind of sensational on their own. That's the 3 two-man teams that I would use if I were WWE. Because Booker adds nothing to commentary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
I'm done. After you put in the private chat, let me know when you're done.
No, because I'm like I want to have I don't want to interrupt. I know it's your moment too. I'm very torn about this. Like Millie said, because not only as a woman but as a person of color, I see what he has done, and I don't like it whatsoever. I know he's made comments here and there, like when the Sasha Naomi thing happened, they were called unprofessional because they walked out. But at the same time, this is something that could apply to him in this situation too. And it's one of those things like it's better if you stay quiet and not say anything because this will bite you in the ass later on, basically. So I see that side of it in that aspect too. But as somebody that I watched him in NXT when he first started, because I was there in those moments, in those tapings when he was wrestling, I always had hope like somebody like him, or maybe him or Baron Corbin will team up together in the main roster. That was like my dream team at that moment, especially. I had interactions with him online because I adore him so much, and just like him and Baron Corbin were 2 of my top favorite ones in NXT at the time there. And I always interacted with him, telling him how much I enjoy what he's doing, how much I wanted more for him. And I cried. That was one of the moments that I cried when I heard about the rumors that he was retiring, because I was thinking, this man had this dream for so long to be here. And then the moment he gets here and he can do a lot more for himself, because NXT was picking up at that moment, was picking up momentum. And then all of a sudden he can't do anymore. And I can't imagine from his position when you're like, this is my dream and I had to stop dreaming and being a part of my dream like this. So it resonated with me in that aspect of it. And I knew I was crying in that moment when he announced during one of the taking overs during the pre-shows. It's like, hey, I'm not going to be wrestling. I'm going to basically quit, in other words, because he was thinking of there's no other option for me. And like you said, when Triple H comes in and offers him the job to be, doing a correspondent backstage as he starts to grow and learn about what he's doing. So I seen him grow from the wrestler to, the correspondent, to the commentary, and how entertaining he is and how great he is. And I'm very proud of him at that aspect of it. So it's like when I see this, I'm like I said, it's like I understand where you're coming from, but I also don't see NXT like a demotion, because I feel like the brand is doing so well. So I don't see it like that. But I feel like he could have done better in the main roster than McAfee, for example. I feel like he's a lot more talented than he is. And it bums me out that this happened to him at the same time, because I imagine you being, I think about it and I put myself in their shoes, because I feel like a lot of times we forget that these are real people. They're not just characters. And I put myself in his shoes and imagine going to work and if I said and tell you, it's like, oh, we don't need you today, you can go home. You don't want to hear that. And it's like, so it's kind of similarly in that aspect for him of like feeling stuck after you've grown so much and you're hoping that your payoff will come out sometime soon. So I hear a little bit of everything. So as I always say, I'm very torn about it, because I watched this man grow to where he is now and I want more for him. But at the same time, like Millie put in the chat there, he's responsible for certain comments that I'm not really comfortable with at the same time. But again, he's also human. He's not perfect either. So I will say that as well. I know he's mentioned here comments here and there, especially towards the women that I don't particularly like. And obviously, if I could say it to his face, I would, because I don't like it whatsoever. As a fan of his, I can tell him, it's like, I don't like what you said here, but I'm not gonna have that opportunity. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's a very awkward situation. The back and forth of like getting, he tweets about it. His brother says it's not a work, and then people are saying it's a work, and then, oh no, we saw him in TSA. I'm like, who the f is in TSA to know that he left TSA? Like, that's too much to know at that point. And it feels a little bit more of like an invasion of privacy at the same time. And like I was saying, it's like he doesn't live in Orlando or in Tampa like most of the wrestlers do, so that's why he went back home. So it's like it feels like such an awkward situation to like be in, especially when there's so many people online. So especially nowadays, so many people commenting on a situation that we don't even know the half of it. To be honest, we know only a certain part of the story, and it's only one side of it. We don't know the other part of it, so we're just commenting on what we see at that moment. So that's why I've been mostly quiet about it, just because we're only getting bits and pieces here. We don't know entirely the whole story. Who knows if it's a work later on? It shows up that it has to do to set up a match later, because not too long ago he has been cleared to wrestle, but he hasn't stepped foot in the ring. So that's, I don't want to say fishy, but that's kind of weird at the same time from a wrestler whose dream was to wrestle, that you have the opportunity to, and he doesn't at the same time. So who knows? But yeah, there's so much going on. That's why I don't want to comment too much on it, because we're getting updates basically. I almost feel like by the hour of like, he did this and he did that and he said this and he said that. I don't know. I really don't know at this point. I would have preferred, like you said, the other option would be for me, if he wasn't part of the main roster, would have been take out Booker and just keep Vic and him on NXT. I feel like that would have been a great team to listen to on a weekly basis. But yeah, it's like I understand so many different aspects of it, but yeah, I just kind of, I don't want to say sad, but it's just one of those things, like it's a little disappointing at the same time what's happening.
Yeah, there's no good scenario for how this ends in any way, shape,
Mhm.
or form, unless it's him versus Pat McAfee at Mania,
Maybe.
which honestly I'd be down for. I think that'd be kind of fun. Him versus Pat with Michael Cole as a special guest referee. I think that could be a fun match. Let Joe T and what's his name, Wade Barrett call the match.
Yep.
But thank you for joining us for our rant at the end of the show. Astrid, tell people where they can find you this week.
Well, you can find. Well, I don't know the time yet, but on Friday we will have the show airing with myself, Mark, and Brett. We'll be chatting about Genesis and leading up to that. So we kind of can preview Genesis and catching up on what TNA has been doing lately. So that we a little bit what the show will be about this week. Again, you can find me on Monday doing Women's Classic Wrestling. I had to think about it before, so I don't mess it up. We have another episode of us chatting about the Mae Young Classic, which will be, I think, we're in the quarterfinals at this point. So it's been really nice to chat with, as I call them, Colin Squared, about the Mae Young Classic and how everything's going, and applying it to wrestling now, and seeing all these ladies grow and transform themselves into who they are now. So that's been amazing to watch. And again, you can find me on Tuesdays with this one here talking about NXT. Like he said, we do have, hoping that we're cooking for somebody that will be pretty cool to have with us for the Vengeance Day, hopefully the preview show. So we'll see how that goes. I'm working on it. Hopefully it'll work out. So keep your fingers crossed for us. But other than that, you can find me my Twitter and Blue Skies Astrid Pizarro, my Instagram and Threads Astrid Pizarro 20. And if you're here, most likely you're watching on my YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when I upload or go live. Hit that like button on the video, and I'm hopefully, as you probably have noticed by now, I'm uploading a little bit more clips here and there of our shows that I'm doing every single week. So if you see them on socials, don't mind resharing them. I would appreciate it. I appreciated that too.
You can find me on Ed Fries 12584 on both Twitter and Blue Skies. However, I don't know what the hell I'm doing on Blue Skies, so I'm a lot less active on that platform. You can also find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/EdFries2002, where I simulcast all of my Marvel Talk episodes. Speaking of Marvel Talk, Vengeance Day weekend is going to be a busy one for me because it's Valentine's Day, it's Captain America 4 weekend, it's Vengeance Day weekend. I am going to be busy all 4 nights of that weekend. It is not going to be an easy week for me. That's going to be a fun one. Otherwise, you can see me here every Tuesday with the natural Ash Bizarro, and you can see me on Sunday mornings occasionally with Bobby Munson, Mark Talks Wrestling, and Andre C. as we talk all things sports-y, kind of, sort of.
Sure.
It is what it is. Me and Andre should be having our 2025 year in preview show coming up within the next few weeks. And remember that we're going to be having, once it fully drops, we're going to be having all of the episode recap of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man later on in this month or the beginning of next month as we get going. So Daredevil trailer comes out tomorrow, so we'll probably do a reaction video for that tomorrow night. So make sure you go ahead and come here to check us out for that as we go ahead and do our Daredevil trailer reactions. We found that Daredevil is coming out March 4th. Very excited for March 4th. Cannot come soon enough. Daredevil Born Again is going to be great. Let's see what we got going on in the chat. These last kind of thing. Thank you both for the fun stream. I needed it. Anytime, anything you need, Millie, just reach out to us. You know that we're always there for you. Yeah, kind of, sort of. Like, Point of View is kind of a catch-all show. We talk a little bit of wrestling.
Yeah.
I zone out when Mark and Bobby talk about soccer. I zone out when Mark and Andre talk about F1. So, like, I'm paying attention for, like, a quarter of the show. And most of the time, I'm doing something else. So, I'm there occasionally. I have to do the ice bucket challenge, which I'm not looking forward to because I'm already sick. So that's not something I'm looking forward to, but hopefully I'll be able to film that this weekend. So we shall see. But if you want to catch all of us here at our local establishment, you can always do that right down here at these places, including Ole Podcasts on all social media platforms, whether it be Twitter, whether it be Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, all of them are there. Or you can find us on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook at our local establishment. You can also find it at our local establishment on the TikTok. Although that might be going away, so I don't know what the hell we're going to do on the TikTok if that goes away. However, I have been OLED Ed Fries. This has been the Natural Astrid Bizarro. Remember that if you're buying the new Penta mask, use her WWE Shop affiliate code. So you can go ahead and get the new Penta mask and get Astrid a little bit of money in the pocket for doing so. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
I am in misery.